Greetings, friends, and welcome back to the 3-Minute Horror Show. My name is Ben, your host, and I love horror movies. In fact, I watch the bad movies so that you don't have to. You're welcome. Today I'll be reviewing the movie Tarnation, also known as Creature Cabin, from 2017. G'day, mate! Oscar gets kicked from her band, dumped by her boyfriend, and she's having a rotten, no good, very bad day. But things can always get worse, can't they?
Yes.
This movie is basically an Australian love letter to Evil Dead. It was written and directed by Australian filmmaker Daniel Armstrong, who's also responsible for Sheborg and Murderdrome. And both of those movies also feature the star of this one, Daisy Masterman. Tarnation is streaming here in Canada on Tubi, but as I mentioned, it's called Creature Cabin there. We open on a lady running from a cabin in the woods, a cabin very reminiscent of the Evil Dead 2 cabin, and she's being chased by two evil-looking monks. She stops and beats their asses, like with a crazy kung fu moves and everything. It doesn't help her situation though, because a few seconds later she's gored by an enormous black unicorn. Remember that unicorn for later. Jump to an Australian woman named Oscar. She's the lead singer of a rock band, and they are currently practicing a new song that they were given by their management. She kinda reminds me of Martha Plimpton, only Australian. Anyways, she hates the song, and I guess they decide they don't like her attitude, so she's fired. Meanwhile, she picks up a postcard that seems to have the cabin from the beginning of the movie on it. This is an Ozsploitation movie, which means that it's a low-budget exploitation film made in Australia after 1970. It's on the list, too. I checked, it's official.
Liar!
I love Ozsploitation movies, and there are a ton of them. Here are a few of my favorites. Dead End Drive-In from 1986. This is a movie about a young couple that are trapped in a drive-in movie theater that doubles as a concentration camp for undesirables. Razorback from 1984. An enormous hog, not that kind of hog, prowls the Australian outback, eating people and wrecking stuff. Body Melt from 1993. This movie focuses on a health craze surrounding some fad vitamin supplements that mutate its users in various hideous ways. This movie is wild. And finally, some of the most famous Ozsploitation movies are The Road Warrior and Mad Max, and I can totally see that. Now I love those movies, but they've also got Beyond Thunderdome on the official Ozsploitation list, and I'm pretty sure that movie had a big budget. All three of these movies are about a dystopian future Australia where gas is precious and brutality is the norm. Oscar's boyfriend also seems to have just left her, so now she's having a double bad day. Her roommate decides that what Oscar needs is a vacation getaway, so she convinces Oscar to come to a rental cabin with her and her fiancé. Guess what cabin it is? That's right, it's the cabin from the beginning of the movie. The fiancé will bring a friend for her. Oscar reluctantly agrees and they head out on the road. Meanwhile, two hunters are out for a hunt in the wilderness. They come across a strange pool with an image in it, and one of the hunters is pulled out of her wheelchair directly into the pool. What emerges is a woman's figure with angel wings and the demonic black unicorn head. It gores the other hunter and turns her into what basically amounts to be a deadite. The director of this film, Daniel Armstrong, taught himself how to make movies, and he coined a new term for the types of movies he creates, neo-pulp. Quoting Daniel himself, neo-pulp is lovingly embracing the most extreme, cliché, and supercilious elements of pop culture and pulp literature and putting them in a human context. It's not a spoof, it's not horror, it's not action, it's not sci-fi, and it's not drama. It's all of these things. It's neo-pulp. And that's pretty cool. The woman that plays Oscar in this movie is named Daisy Masterman, as I mentioned before, and she has become a constant collaborator of Daniel Armstrong. She also plays Princess Bitchface in Murderdrome, Eddie in Sheborg, and Princess Nova in Novastar. They are both very talented, and I hope they continue to work together for the foreseeable future. Oscar and company run into car trouble on the way to the cabin, and luckily for them, the deadite hunter has killed someone in the road and stolen their car. She drives them to their cabin. Later that evening, the deadite sends some bugs and stuff into the cabin to convert Oscar's friends. There are some gnarly practical effects used, and this was a lot better than I expected it to be. Be forewarned though, a centipede does crawl out of a dude's pee hole. I can't show you that. You might think that that's the craziest this movie gets, but no. After this point, it turbocharges into high gear with lots of twists, turns, and double crosses that will even likely fool you as the viewer. This movie was excellent from start to finish, and it was much better than it had any right to be. It was definitely a love letter to its source material, that source material being Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2, and that's perfectly okay. Daisy Masterman, the actress that played Oscar, is very talented, and she is a good stand-in for Bruce Campbell. Be forewarned that they do drop a few R slurs throughout the runtime of this movie, but maybe that's culturally appropriate in Australia. I have no idea. To close, I purposely left out a bunch of cool stuff that happens for my plot synopsis because I really recommend that you go watch this movie. Go watch it. I rate Tarnation, or Creature Cabin, an 8 out of 10. As always, a link to my Letterboxd appears in the video's description. Please leave me a like, comment, and subscribe as it really does boost my engagement and helps my channel grow. Smell you later, nerds.
Besides, it's not exactly like a weekend away in a cabin in the woods is gonna kill anyone, is it?